A very good evening to all of you. Today our topic of discussion is how to write good answers if we are poor in spelling or grammar. Now this is one of the common problems faced by many UPSC aspirants, especially those hailing from regional background and taking English as a medium of instruction. Now in that scenario, what you have to keep into mind is something we would focus today, but we would move on two different sections separately. One is spelling and another is grammar. Now, when it comes to grammar, what is the best thing that you can do? The first thing is, being a UPSC aspirant, you read a lot. Now, since you read a lot, when you are reading in English, because you would be writing your answers in English, definitely you are enhancing your vocabulary at the same time. So those small grammatical mistakes are automatically ruled out. When I have seen even my colleagues preparing for UPSC, most of them hailing from Hindi medium background or regional background or having their fundamental studies with basic English, not very good English. In that scenario, even while reading newspapers, reading editorials, their grammar was significantly improved. The next important thing that you can take into account for grammar is writing in points. Rather than writing whole sentences specifically for answers which require let's say it's a theory, it's a question based on theory, explain Ricardo's theory or Smith's theory. In that case, you can rather writing as paragraphs, you can rather write as points. So that is one of the good suggestions to handle the grammatical errors. When it comes to spelling, what care you have to take? Now, if you are preparing your notes through online medium, let's say you are typing in Word. Now what happens when you are typing in Word, you would have automatic spell correct. So through your MS Word or Grammarly, whatever format you are using, you would have the corrections for the grammatical mistakes. Now these grammatical mistakes are not only corrected, but again you would have the spelling mistakes which are corrected through this word. Now since you are rectifying all the red underlines that are there. So red underline in the word denotes your spelling errors and the blue one denotes your grammar errors. So the red underlines, if you are correcting it, for example, a lot of students for the spelling of definite, they write this spelling. So this becomes a incorrect spelling. When I say schedule, they write a spelling of this, which again becomes incorrect. So these small corrections, now spelling corrections are very obvious. You know what kind of mistakes you make. For example, length. So this is a spelling that is written. So again, it would be GST. So those basic mistakes in the spelling, I would just erase the wrong one so that you don't remember. But the idea is those spelling mistakes are very obvious. They do not run across. So once you know these are the common mistakes I do in the spelling, that would be refined. Now once those spelling mistakes are refined, they don't come back again. So spelling correction is relatively easier. Grammar correction comes automatically with better reading, more contextual reading, and writing your answers in points format. So when you are writing your answers in points format, you would always require less of grammar and your grammatical problem would be automatically resolved. But when I say write in points, that does not mean you just write 2-3 words for each of those. You can write sentences but not whole paragraphs. When you are writing whole paragraphs, there is where most of the grammatical mistakes and errors crops in. So that is one of the major differences when you are working with spelling or grammar. Now, students from regional medium background or Hindi medium background often are confused whether I am having problem with spelling or I am having problem with grammar. Now, most of the students from regional medium background have a relatively better grammar. They struggle more in spelling. So spelling, as I said, can be rectified. You can also use another way of rectifying the spelling is keep a copy where you write the wrong words and subsequently correct those words. Now once you go through those words, you would automatically know. Even for your optional, what is a good strategy to do is when you are reading, let's say there is a theory which is asked, when you are reading on the optional itself, in the optional itself, you can mark your book with boxes or highlighter or different pen to focus on the spelling. So that spelling problem would be resolved only while you are reading the content. Now, coming on to resolving the problems with grammar. So, for spelling, you need not to write answers in order to resolve your spellings. You know where you commit the mistake, and even with less writing, you are able to identify where to work. With grammar, you would have to practice writing. Now, when I say practice writing, how would you manage that? You have to write at least 2 to 3 answers on a daily basis. If not, then at least one answer on a daily basis. Now, one answer that you have written on a daily basis, what you do is you write that answer and you compare that model answer with the one of the passages which is given in the book, or one of the concepts which are given in the book, and simultaneously what you have written, you read it and you read what is given in the book. Now, you compare both of those. You would automatically understand what kind of grammatical errors you commit. I give you a very simple example. A lot of students, when writing vocabulary, they do not write I am. Now with I, am is the word that comes. Now I was, rather than writing I am, they mention directly the word I and move on to the next word. Okay, so that is one of the common mistakes. Now similarly, you identify where you commit the mistake. Another common mistake is singular plural. With the singular, you use the verbs which run as plural. So that is again a common grammar mistake which most of the students do. So you identify what kind of grammatical mistake you do. Now, once you identify what kind of grammatical mistakes you do, again, you know, I don't need to do this, and that would be rectified. But that would come only when you practice writing. It won't come directly. While spelling mistakes are really much more obvious, you can understand exactly where I would commit the mistakes. Spelling mistakes, if not very visualized, can be ignored in most of the cases, but grammar mistakes can create problem. My main point here is, if you are committing mistakes with spelling, let's say in the whole answer there are 3 or 4 spellings that are wrong, that would be relatively acceptable. But in the whole passage, if there are numerous grammatical mistakes, then probably that won't be acceptable. So here, to make it acceptable, what you have to do is you have to write. Only once you write, you understand where you are missing, and then you would be able to understand how I need to write it point wise. So that is one of the major things that you have to focus on, the grammatical part. If you have any question, please mention those in the comment section as we proceed. The link below has the links for answer writing, the model answers, and the evaluation. So if you are looking for personalized feedback, then definitely we do provide personalized one-on-one phone call with every answer that we check, so that you get to know where you are committing the real mistake and what kind of problems need to be resolved. Also, there is one good option specifically for students shifting their language, is taking help of a Hindi to English dictionary or your regional language to English dictionary. So either of those are a perfect combination, and that would help improve your grammar, vocabulary. And once your vocabulary is good, your spelling and grammar would automatically be resolved. Another good way is going through editorials. Read a lot of editorials. When you are reading your editorial, there are 2 additional points. One is you are automatically preparing for your general studies, your GS paper. The second important thing is you are developing an insight. Now this insight would be important. It would give you a perspective not only for your GS mains but also for your interview answer writing. The third important thing again with your editorials is, when you read it, the language is very refined, so automatically the grammar gets better, your vocabulary increases. Now once your vocabulary increases, you would be able to use good vocabulary and your answer writing skills would improve automatically. So reading is the perfect way. There is no substitute to reading. Also, if you are going through videos, I would recommend don't go through this English videos where you have combination of Hindi English, because a lot of students feel that it is much more easier to understand. It probably can be easier to understand relatively, but the main problem is that grammar problem won't be resolved, because if you're listening the whole sentence in English, you would automatically be able to form that whole sentence in English. But if you are referring this Hindi English mix, then you would not be able to form a good grammar. You would know the concept, that's for sure, but when it comes to formulation of sentences, there is where you won't be that confident in your writing portion. So to be confident in your writing, it is a good option. Even if you are going through your audios or videos, work on exclusive content. So if it is Hindi exclusive. If it is English exclusive. Whatever language you are picking it, take a exclusive content, and that would boost your confidence with your vocabulary and grammar as well. So that is one of the questions that we had received from the students regarding when they are struggling with grammar, spelling, how to resolve those. In the subsequent classes for this month, we would be covering most of the issues related to your UPSC answer writing itself. So we would meet live again on Tuesday and Saturday. Till then, if you have any further suggestions, any further topics that we need to cover in the live sessions, feel free to connect us and send us an email so that those topics would be covered on priority. And definitely for more information, follow the links below. Wish you very good luck for your preparation. Have a wonderful evening ahead.